Hello everyone, welcome back to the Frontline Report channel. Please subscribe and like my videos. Tonight we're diving into a dramatic moment that shifts the battlefield into city skylines. From front lines to skylines, Ukraine's strike on Moscow's iconic towers. What happens when drones leave the trenches and reach the heart of a capital? What does it mean when towers of commerce, glass and steel suddenly become targets? We'll walk through the exterior of the strike site, a short look at the interior damage, examine the performance of the attack, the safety and defense features and failures, the unique selling points of this event, the cost or price paid, and finally wrap with a conclusion. Imagine a twilight skyline of Moscow, the high-rises towering above the city, their glass facades reflecting the setting sun. Then a streak of light, a drone lashes through the dusk, and seconds later a burst of flame erupts from a tower once thought inviolable. Smoke billows, glass shards fall like raindrops, emergency crews flood the scene. For viewers, this story clicks immediately. The war is no longer distant, no longer confined to front-line trenches. It has reached the skyscrapers of the enemy's capital. That is the story hook. On the exterior, the visuals are striking. The towers of Moscow, icons of commerce and power, now battered. Flames licking up from the upper floors of a luxury high-rise. The reflection of fire in the tower's mirrored windows. Plumes of black smoke twisting upward, city lights gleaming through haze. Below, panicked civilians descend stairwells, emergency sirens wail, helicopters circle overhead. In another shot, airport runways near the capital shut down as plume after plume interrupts air operations. Drones cast elongated shadows over the skyline before impact. The juxtaposition is jarring. The cosmopolitan cityscape, the modern towers, now turned into war scenes. This external vantage tells a story of vulnerability and surprise, that a capital once deemed relatively safe from direct strikes is now exposed. It also sets the tone for a new phase of conflict, turban, vertical, high-rise. Turning to the interior, the damage is less visually glamorous but intensely human. Inside the struck tower, shattered ceilings, alarms blaring, sprinklers activated, and water pooling across marble floors. Elevators disabled, stairwells filled with smoke, office corridors darkened by fire, glass fragments everywhere, employees evacuated, emergency lights flicker, the skyline outside visible through shattered windows, a wall of orange glow threatening. Brief though the description, it underscores that commercial luxury spaces are not immune. Places of business and high-end living became frontline zones. Next, performance. The attack was sophisticated and telling. According to reports, Ukrainians launched waves of drones towards the Moscow region, including at least one drone that struck a multi-story building in the Moscow, a blast early on, triggering fire and damaging infrastructure. Russia's air defense apparatus claimed to have intercepted dozens, even hundreds of drones overnight. One night, nearly 200 Ukrainian drones were said to have been shot down over various regions, including near Moscow. Despite this, the fact that a high-rise tower was hit reveals a key point. 1. Long-range strike capability has advanced. 2. Dense urban targets in a capital are now within reach. 3. The air defenses were tested and in some cases penetrated. The strike's performance shows that drones are not only front-line tools but strategic ones capable of reaching high-value urban targets. Safety features, or rather their failure or adaptation, are next. On the defender's side, Moscow is shielded by layered air defenses, long considered among the strongest in the world. But this strike suggests the system either has gaps or can be overwhelmed. Russian officials reported intercepting many drones, but the fact that one reached a tower means redundancy or hardening of commercial high-rises was insufficient. On the attacker's side, the drones themselves may be small, low signature, or sent in waves to saturate defenses. For occupants of the towers and urban civilians, safety protocols are no longer just fire drills. They now must consider aerial intrusion, evacuation from high floors, contingency for structural damage from the top down. In short, the safety environment has changed. What was once considered safe is now targetable, and urban defense needs to evolve rapidly. The unique selling points of this story are many. First, the symbolic impact. When towers of a major power's capital burn, the message is loud. It's not just an infrastructure hit, it's a psychological blow. Second, the technological evolution. Drones have matured to reach deep into enemy territory and high into the skyline, crossing from battlefield to city. Third, the blurring line between civilian/commercial and military infrastructure. Luxury towers and commercial high-rises are now at risk, dragging commerce and civilian life into the war zone. Fourth, the global ripple. Such strikes elevate risk perceptions for real estate, insurance, urban planning, defense industry. Fifth, the narrative shift. War is no longer just on open fields or contested regions. It is in the vertical spaces of capitals. Sixth, the cost, financial, human, strategic. And that leads into the price discussion. On price, the cost is enormous, though not always immediately quantifiable. The towers damaged are worth hundreds of millions or even billions. Fire suppression, structural repair, glass replacement, business interruption, evacuation, loss of tenants, increased insurance premiums, all add up. On the human side, residents, workers, first responders, physical injuries, psychological trauma, displacement. On the strategic side, the hit to national prestige, the forced reallocation of defense budgets to urban protection, the shift in urban real estate viability. On the economic side, market instability, capital flight, reluctance from investors in high-rise commercial developments in conflict, proximate regions. On the geopolitical side, escalatory risks, signaling to allies and adversaries alike that no place is entirely safe. In sum, the price paid encompasses infrastructure, commerce, human cost, and strategy. In conclusion, this strike marks a turning point. The battlefield has expanded. Front lines now include capitals, high-rises, skylines. The attack on Moscow's towers is more than a headline. It is a warning. A warning that modern war can reach vertically, that urban towers once symbols of security are now vulnerable. For Ukraine, it shows reach and message. For Russia, it demands adaptation and defense in depth. For the world, it signals a new paradigm, urban vulnerability, drone reach, commerce under threat. As we watch the smoke rise over Moscow's towers, we must ask, what happens next? Will capitals invest heavily in rooftop defense systems? Will building codes evolve for ballistic threats? Will insurance premiums rise for high-rises near conflict zones? Will urban planners rethink high-density towers as safe havens? The narrative has shifted. The skyline is now a front line. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more frontline analysis from cities, capitals, and battle zones alike.